Okay.
Milena, is it 350 for the oven?
Yes, it's 350.
Okay.
So I have my oven, like I said, I have my oven preheating and I have my water boiling. Tonight we're going to make a couple of dishes. I wanted to make an appetizer and so that you can get some ideas because the Super Bowl is coming up. So it's going to be a baked tomato and feta and goat cheese dip. We're going to have some garlic bread with it because garlic bread is one of my favorite things to make with the garlic sauce. Bill, if you could help me.
Sure.
When this pops up, somebody just needs to be let in. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, when you see it pop up, just admit them in. And watch out, Bill.
What do you press?
Hi! It hasn't popped up yet, I'll let you know. So, garlic bread is one of my favorite things to make with the garlic sauce. And then we're going to make a shrimp scampi. Just press, okay, Bill, admit. Just press the pad here.
Here?
Nope, down, yep. Okay, great. So shrimp scampi, you can make it with chicken or if you like vegetables. It's really interchangeable. And then I gave some suggestions. That's my oven that's preheated. We're doing linguine tonight just to show you something really easy. Go ahead, Bill. Hold on. You gotta look when you do it. Admit all. Because if it's more than one person, you have to admit all. We don't typically have linguine at home, but today's special. I want to show it. But you can easily substitute zucchini noodles. There are a lot of other like low carb options. Cauliflower pasta I saw. There's a hearts of palm pasta and linguine that I saw too. So I'm trying all of those things as we try to be low carb here. And then you can easily make adjustments to have everything be vegetarian or vegan. You can swap in zucchini would be a great option to saute. So, all right, I have all my ingredients set out here. But before I start, I just wanted to bring my mom on, have her kind of say a little bit why we're joined tonight. So this is my mom, Mama Millie.
Hi everyone. Welcome everybody. I'm so happy that all of you decided to join us this evening. I'm so proud of Milena. And this is a story that goes back to when they were little kids. I decided to make the sauce fresh because we wanted it for our fried plantains, you know, and I just kept on making it, thought nothing of it. But over the years, I always kept some of it in the refrigerator and started using it on other things. And those of you who have been to our holiday party, holiday cookie exchange party, have tasted it, and so many of you liked it. So I decided to pass on the recipe to Milena, and she ran with it, and we're launching her business, Mama Millie's, with the sauce.
Yep. So people would always say, you know, if you sold this sauce, we would get it. So here's the opportunity. I never really thought that I would be here, but in this past year, trying to be inventive of how to use my talents and keep myself busy and try to earn an income and start a business, ways to really try to keep myself going during this whole pandemic when I was out of my job because they closed down the restaurant, right? So I took it for granted kind of in launching this that I know how to cook. I really love how to cook. I cook pretty much every day. Like Monday through Saturday, I'm cooking dinner for my family. So to me, it's really easy to whip up recipes. Last night, I used the garlic sauce too. It took me 25 minutes to get my meal together. We had chicken tacos. So I wanted to try to explain for people that aren't that comfortable with cooking, how easy it is. Press that accept button. Scroll up. Mommy, if you can just do it.
Accept.
All right. So, still learning how to get my setup right. So, like I said, we're going to start with the dip, okay? I have my ingredients. This is the ricotta cheese. We've got our feta cheese and goat cheese. Okay. I'm going to put it into a mixing bowl. Like so. And this is something too that it's interchangeable with cheeses. You just are looking for the texture. You know, if you have cream cheese at home or Parmesan cheese, that would make for a lovely bake. But you're looking for something creamy like a ricotta, right? And then something kind of tangy, so Parmesan would be good. Mozzarella is a nice mixing cheese. I do like a spinach artichoke kind of dip that has those ingredients in it. So I'm just breaking up the goat cheese. I'm going to break up this feta in the bowl.
I see right there.
And then I'm a really big fan of dips. So I saw this idea on TikTok about having like a dip party. Hey, Ma?
Yes.
Could you help me out?
Sure.
And so I saw this recipe because I was trying to
Sure.
find something that I was going to try for Super Bowl. So you're just going to want to get it all mixed in. The dry ingredients, right, the herbs, we've got some thyme and some basil. If you have fresh of either, that would work well. When you use the dry ingredients, you use less than fresh ingredients because the dry ingredients are more potent. As it dries, it really concentrates the flavor, right? So since this has a bunch of salt in it, I'm not going to add extra salt. I'm just going to add the seasoning from the sauce. I'm going to add some pepper because I like pepper. All right. And when I cook, normally I don't, unless I'm baking, I really don't use like measurements that much. The whole joke is just season until the ancestors tell you to stop. So with cooking
I
too,
like that.
you like that? Yeah. You season in stages, so that way you can taste it, right? It's really, the worst thing is having something be too salty or too spicy, right? There are ways around that, but if you kind of check as you're cooking and do it in stages, then you really can avoid having something being too spicy or too salty. All right, so I'm just taking the sauce, and for this, you can stir it really well or you can shake it up. You're just trying to get all the garlic mixed together with the oil when you need it. Otherwise, I mean, it is really normal for the ingredients to settle at the bottom, and this is about a teaspoon, so I just put in 2 teaspoons. All right, mix that up. And this is ready to go on the bottom of the dish. So you can see it's all mixed. So I really like these Pyrex dishes to bake with. There's something really nice aesthetically about seeing it cook in a clear kind of container, but any other kind of dish is fine. As long as it's oven proof. We're gonna just put that in the bottom.
She uses a spoon to put it at the spatula, which is something we could do too, you know, if you don't want to use it.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'm just making sure that it's all spread into the dish. And then you can put tomatoes right into it. So I'm just going to push them into the top. Give them a little nestle in there. So this really is interchangeable too. You can add what you like. You can add artichokes. You can add red peppers. The the ones that in the jar too, that would be nice to chop up and put in here. This is just really like a base, and we're gonna do the garlic bread next, which is gonna be a nice vehicle to scoop this all up. All right. So it just goes like this in the oven, and you don't have to put any additional fats unless you wanted to put a little bit of olive oil on the top, because the cheese does have a lot of fat content in it. And then I'll also tell you, when you take this out of the oven, you're gonna want to just pop the tomatoes so that it opens up. You can do that beforehand too if you just want to give a little pierce, but generally they'll just pop open as you cook them. All right, I'm gonna go pop this in the oven. All right. So the next thing I'm gonna do, because when I cook, I'm pretty organized about how I go about the order of what I'm gonna cook, right? Like the first thing I did, preheat the oven, put on the water, because those are things that you're just wanna, they take time to warm up and get ready. So, you know, the last thing you want is to be ready to put something in the oven and then it's not even ready to go. So the next thing I'm gonna do, garlic bread. Then from there, I'm gonna put the pasta in the water and then start working on the shrimp. All right, so I just got a baguette from the bakery. You can do any type of bread, even if you have sliced bread, multigrain bread. It's just gonna be the vehicle that we use for the dip. If you're trying to go low carb, do some crudité. Slice up some carrots, some cucumbers, some fresh bell pepper. It's really however you like. I'm just gonna go in. I like to do it on a little angle so that you get some pointy ends, because that makes for better dipping. And you're gonna just do maybe about an inch thick. Right. Not gonna use the end. I want kind of the middle pieces. And I'll just show you. So the bias, see? That's maybe about a little bit less than an inch or so. And by doing it on that end, you see the pointy bits? That'll be perfect for dipping. No, it's okay. So I think a lot of people just really need recipes, right, for cooking, and that's fine. But it's really about the taste that you like. Like feel free to look at a recipe and then say, you know what, I like a bit of spice. Shrimp scampi would be perfect if you put in some red pepper flake, right? I like hot sauce and everything. I don't see why you couldn't put that on the cheese dip. Hot sauce and cheese are really good to me. And if anyone has questions, please feel free, jump in, ask a question. This is about you and any questions you have too, since I'm super comfortable in the kitchen and I love to cook. All right, I'm just gonna do a few pieces. I'm not gonna do the whole loaf, because otherwise we'll eat it all. So it doesn't matter if you have a funny looking piece, it's still gonna be really good. What I'm gonna do, just to make the garlic bread, all I'm gonna do is just put the sauce on each piece. It's that easy. So, you know how they'll sell like ready to bake garlic breads in the grocery store? Sometimes it's frozen or sometimes it's in the bakery section, right? Well, you don't have to buy that. You got everything you need at home with the sauce. So I'm putting approximately a teaspoon on each piece, right? And just kind of spreading it on the top, as you can see. So has anybody tried the sauce yet? Have they made anything that they really liked?
Go ahead, Amy.
We've put it on quite a few things. Turkey cutlets.
Ooh, okay.
that was really terrific. Salmon, also.
Yes, that's a favorite of mine.
So anytime we've been putting it on the table for anyone to use whenever they feel the urge. So
Nice.
it's been great.
Nice. Awesome.
I've done it with pork chop.
Oh, hi,
Pork
Christina.
chop marinated in that. Hi, Milena. It's very good.
Did you put anything
Sorry, I
else
have
on
to-
it when you seasoned
Repeat
them?
that?
Did you put anything else on it when you seasoned it?
No, that was the only thing.
Okay.
So I had marinated a little bit, maybe about an hour before I decided to bake it.
Okay.
And I just left it in that. Yeah, I didn't use any other seasoning other than that, actually.
Okay.
It was very good.
All right. Cool. I'm just gonna pop it on this tray, and I'm gonna pop this garlic bread in the oven as well.
Can you this stuff?
Right. So one thing that I always have handy while I'm cooking is like a kitchen towel or paper towels, because I just wipe off the surface and keep going. When I'm cutting vegetables, I also always have like a little receptacle where I put the trash that as you're cooking, right? So the onion peels, we compost at home, so I collect it, but it's really nice to have just that little area where you're putting all your trash to keep your area neat, and then the paper towels to keep it dry, so that way nothing slips, your hands don't slip, and that way you're not really getting too many cross contamination, and also with the different flavors too, right? Because you have to also think about what you're chopping, because the last things you'll want to chop are something like a garlic or onion, right, with your prep, because then why would you want to cut then something, say you're also having something with fruit or meat, right? Like you want to have it separated, and you don't want that flavor to transfer. And meat should always be on its separate cutting board. All right, so the next thing is I'm just going to pop the pasta in. So just a note too, I know I told you guys 350 for the oven, but for some reason at my house, I always have to put everything higher. Like I'm at almost 400 degrees to bake mine. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that, it's a little bit of an older oven. We have a little bit of an altitude, but for some reason when I'm baking too, I always have to put stuff up, bake it for longer than what the recipe says. And when I cook in the Instant Pot a lot too, longer than what that says. Like, I've never been able to make beans in 20 minutes with the Instant Pot. It's more like 40 minutes for me. Does anybody else use an Instant Pot? I swear I use it like at least once a week. No? No one? Well, it's
I do it for steel cut oatmeal, which is not fun, but I
a good
should do it
idea.
for stews and things. But steel cut oatmeal takes
Really?
forever.
Yeah,
So we use it for that.
that's a good
We
idea.
made roasted chicken.
Oh, okay.
But that was a couple months ago, and then we sort of lost interest. if you have any good recipes, we'd appreciate them.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I definitely do a lot of stews. You can caramelize onions. I'm just adding salt. Like I said, don't be afraid to salt the water. That's your only chance to season the pasta. I've even made like dessert stuff in the Instant Pot. My little like cheat sheet kind of to making dulce de leche is so easy. You take off the label of the can of condensed milk, you open up the lid, you just put like aluminum foil on the top, put it in the Instant Pot with like an inch of water, and then put it to pressure cook. Like I do it for 40 minutes, and you have dulce de leche.
Wow.
I use the Instant Pot a lot as well, Milena.
Yeah?
I use it to cook fry. I use it to do stews. I really like it.
Right, it's so easy. Yeah, I love it. All right, so pasta's going. So for me, pasta takes about 10 to 12 minutes for al dente. So in that meantime, all I've done with the shrimp, so these are the ones that they had available. I usually get larger shrimp. I rinse them off to wash them, and then I just put salt and pepper on it. another like tip for when you cook is when you're gonna have a protein, right? When you want a nice sear on something, when you want it to have a nice color, make sure that it's dry. I think people, you know, they'll wash their meat or just take it out of the package and then not take the time to like dry it off. That really creates that like sear, that really nice color when you're cooking, and that's what like professional chefs do. You know, they're also not cooking a protein from cold. It doesn't mean that it's warm, but you know, you get the chill off of it from the refrigerator, and that makes a lot of sense, right? I was talking with my mom earlier. I can talk about food all day. I can talk about cooking all day, and you know, I can get really nerdy with it because I read a lot about it. I follow blogs. I watch shows. I mean, I was watching Julia Child at like 3 years old instead of PBS, just you know, with Sesame Street, just sitting there watching her and like mesmerized. So it's funny because I didn't always love to cook though, but I loved food. So in thinking about cooking, a lot of it is really just a chemical reaction, right? It's about how the food on a molecular level bonds, right? And you have the different reactions with heat. That's why you get the caramelization when you cook onions, that brown, how they get brown. That's called a Maillard reaction, right? So when you are cooking, it's a balance of trying to get the flavors of salt, fat, acid, heat, right? Layering in sweet, layering in that umami, really savory kind of taste. And the techniques of cooking, right, is really trying to make sure that your proteins are broken down to make it soft, right? You're searing to get the outside hot while the inside is slowly cooking, right? So, you know, it makes sense why you wouldn't want something really cold because the middle is not going to get warm, right? You're only going to have cooking on the outside. So I say all of that to say, if you want a really great protein, steak or whatever, don't cook it from cold. Definitely don't. Make sure everything is defrosted if you're using a frozen a protein from frozen, because otherwise you're just going to get a lot of water. And that's why when you cook maybe a steak and it's from frozen or shrimp, you're getting this like water seepage, but also you're not getting the color that you want, right? If you've ever cooked steak and it's still wet, it's like a gray color. It's not that like beautiful brown color that you see in restaurants. Chicken, it's just going to be like a beige color. It's not going to have that nice like golden color on the outside. And shrimp, you're going to get it pink because that's what it does in heat, but it's not going to have like a nice color on it. All right, so I'm going to heat up my pan here. I'm using a non-stick pan because this is just the one that I kind of normally use all the time because it's light. I'm a big fan of cast iron though. Right? And non-stick pans need a little bit more time to heat up than regular pans. I also really like, I have a couple Le Creuset pans, and I mean, that will last you like a lifetime. You can pass it on to family, right? But it's like a nice coated cast iron, so you get that nice enamel coating, but then the heat conducts really well with the cast iron, and that's why people really love it. All right, so what's gonna go in the shrimp? So we're gonna start with the base. Usually you have, you know, you're chopping up garlic. Some people add onions. I cook a lot with onions. My joke is, you know, I'll chop up onions and garlic and then say, all right, what am I having for dinner? Because I know I'm just going to start with that, right? But the shortcut is the sauce. So once it's heated up, I have about 2 tablespoons of butter here. And I'm going to put butter and then let the sauce cook off, because you can marinate with it, you can saute with it. Makes great like sauteed spinach. On really lazy days, I will just wash some broccoli, pour this over, and pop it in the microwave. Like, it really, it's so easy. and everybody loves it. I know that when I have a go-to meal for my mom is the salmon with the sauce and the broccoli with the sauce. She never gets tired of the garlic, right, Mommy?
Never. Never.
All right, so that seems pretty warm. I'm gonna start with butter, and then I'm just giving the sauce a good stir. And then this is about 4 teaspoons. You know what? I'm gonna add another. In the meantime, I'm going to zest some of my lemon, get that prepped, and then chop my parsley. So I like a lot of kitchen gadgets, right? Something that I've wanted to get for a long time was just a microplaner. It is really good for grating and especially for zesting, right? And it's always the struggle with space in the kitchen and what you're going to use. And Bill was the person that is usually like, no, you don't need all these things, we need less. Where I'm in the middle, right? I know, like, there are tools that I will use, like a mandolin, right? Like a KitchenAid. He never uses them. He can use the same spoon for everything. So he didn't want a microplane at first, but now he loves it, right, Bill? And my mom wants everything. My mom will have like antique versions of like 3 different juicers, you know, like lemon juice, all these different spoons and stuff. Like, my mom is the one that will have to say, we don't really need this. Can we move it? All right. So I got my zest. And then I'm just gonna chop some garlic. Not chop some garlic, chop some parsley. This is gonna go on top. My garlic is sizzling a little bit. Just gonna make sure that's on medium flame.
Are you using the parsley as a herb? Or
Yeah,
are you
so
using it more for coloring?
So it does add a little freshness to the recipe, brightens it up a little bit, and it does give the color. I do like it for both kind of reasons. But when you're using certain fresh herbs, like if you're gonna do cilantro or parsley, add them in towards the end. Don't add them in, you know, at the beginning and have them really cook down a lot, because then they can tend to get bitter. You can layer it with like the dried versions at the beginning if you really want that strong flavor, but parsley and cilantro are a bit more delicate, so they're really better to have at the end. All right, so that's just kind of like a rough little chop. See, I would really love a mezzaluna, but that's like another thing to bring into the kitchen. I don't think I'm gonna win that argument. All right. So,
Milena,
yeah.
we don't know what that is.
A mezzaluna? Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, it has 2 pieces. It usually has like this, a sort of hollowed out base, right? But the mezzaluna itself is like a half moon. That's what it means in Italian. Mezzaluna means half moon. And it's like think of it like a knife blade, but in a half moon with like a handle on top, and you're just like rocking back and forth to cut stuff.
Okay.
It's usually like double bladed. Yep. All right. No, we don't have one of those, Bill. All right. So I smell the garlic. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want it to turn brown, right? I don't want it to go too far. I just want to be able to smell it to know that it's ready. Let me just make sure this pasta's going all right. And then I'm just going to put in, how do I have it here? Because I do it all types of different ways. All right. All right. So now I'm going to put my shrimp. I don't think you can hear the sizzle, but it's sizzling. And then I'm just going to wash my hands. Just going to go off camera to wash my hands real quick once I finish the shrimp. I just touched the shrimp, so I want to make sure that I'm washing my hands. I have it on pretty low, right? It's like a low because I don't want it to overcook. You can let that cook for a couple minutes and put a cover on it. All right. So.
Can you do that recipe with the shrimps that are already cooked?
Yeah, you know what though? I would build my sauce completely first. So I would put the wine, I would put the lemon zest in it, I'd put the lemon juice and have it ready to go. And then it's like you're tossing the shrimp in it to then just warm it up. But that's a really good shortcut too. And I've definitely done that for like quick meals where you're just taking you make a quick sauce and heating up the shrimp. But yeah, definitely that makes it even easier.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, how many of you would you say? What happened?
The bread.
The bread? It's still going. Let me check. Yeah. It's almost there. The bread's almost there. The dip is going to take a little bit longer. I want it to get more bubbly on top. So how many of you would say that you cook like regularly, that you cook often?
Yeah.
Show of hands.
Every day.
Every day? Okay. Okay.
She cooks every day.
Okay.
Not every day. No, she doesn't cook every
We
day.
do take out occasionally.
We do take out occasionally. Not every day. No, we don't cook every day.
And for those of you that don't cook every day, what are some reasons why you don't?
Because we have doctor's appointments and all that, right?
So, if we're running late.
We're running late and
Oh, I tried to cook several things on Sunday, so I don't have to cook every day. during the
Oh,
week.
all right. Batch cooking, that's
And then
great.
just add to it. So I'll do my meats on Sunday, and then I'll add things up during the week to it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. When I'm really motivated, and when I really want to, just have my week go easier, I do meal plan. I'll just, look at what I have on Sunday or get my list together to go shopping and then like plan what I'm going to have each day. And then I know towards the end of the week, I'm going to want recipes that are like pretty easy. I'm somebody that I really don't mind spending an hour and a half cooking. That's pretty like normal for me most days. But by the end of the week, sometimes I just want something that's going to be like 25, 30 minutes. And
Well,
then,
Milena, I love to cook.
Oh, good. Okay.
I love to cook. So it doesn't matter to me. I love to cook.
Right? When you have the time to do something you love, right? It's
But
like,
I do have the time.
yeah, exactly. Retirement is good, huh?
Oh, very good. Very good.
So yeah, I think, a lot of people this past year and staying home, it was out of the comfort zone or their normal routine of actually having to cook a lot at home. Whereas I just took it as an opportunity to try those recipes where I'm like, oh, now I have time to make a sourdough bread. Now I have time to make focaccia. Like, I will spend all day. Focaccia took a long time because it rises and stuff. Spent like 12 hours just to make the bread so we could have a sandwich. Like, like I had the time. But it's something that I really enjoy doing, so. All right, I'm going to check on the shrimp. All right, they look pink on one side. So I'm just going to give them a flip. So in preparing for today, I thought a lot about one of the shows when I was like really starting to cook a lot for myself that I really loved. And it was Rachel Ray's 30-Minute Meals. This was quite a long time ago, maybe about like 15 years ago when she was on TV with that show. And I really loved how she really made like a whole meal within 30 minutes. And I think that really like helped me not be so scared of cooking, and seeing it as something that I could really do like every day. So it's just like a flashback of doing this with you all to the 30-minute meals. All right, so as that's going, right, it lets out some of the juice from the shrimp, and I'm going to crack open the wine. So I recommended a Pinot Grigio. You could do a Chardonnay. What you want is a dry white wine to cook with. So just make sure that it's something that you like to drink, because the flavor is going to be concentrated, right? So if it's something that you don't like the taste of, then you're not really going to like the taste of it in the food either, right? So that doesn't mean that it has to be an expensive wine. It just has to be a wine that you like. And Pinot Grigio happens to be really, really well priced. It's usually pretty cheap. So it's from, Pinot Grigio is a DOC. That means that it's a protected origin. So it's called Pinot Grigio because it's from a particular area in Italy, just like it's only Champagne when it's from the Champagne region. So the Pinot Grigio has that protection as well, that's called a DOC. So I've never had this brand. This was like recommended to me. It smells nice. So you're gonna use about 1/4 cup. So the reason why cooking with alcohol is, a lot of people cook with alcohol rather, is because on a molecular level, it really bonds to the food and the fats. It combines the flavors better. So that's when I was talking about how cooking is about, the chemistry part of it. That's what cooking with alcohol does. You can certainly choose not to cook with alcohol. A really good substitute for that then is balsamic vinegar. There's white balsamic vinegar as well. But vinegar, it will cook down, and it will also help to bring all the flavors together without having the alcohol in it. So I'm just going to add about 1/4 cup. Maybe a little more. Right? And then I've got the lemon that I zested, which is about a tablespoon. Right? And this is the part when I'm going to put in the parsley. And then I'm going to add the butter, the rest of the butter, because I only added half at the beginning. So butter, salt, and sugar are the components that restaurants use. That's why you like the dishes, because they have a lot of butter and because they have a lot of salt and a lot of sugar. It's much more than what you would use at home. But that's what makes it taste so good. And that's why it's a treat. I'm also going to put in some lemon juice. This lemon was really big, so it didn't really fit in this squeeze. All right. And let's just stir this around. How does it smell, Mommy and Belle?
Oh, wonderful. Can't wait to taste it. Oh my goodness.
Me too.
It's driving me nuts.
All right, so really I'm just looking for the butter to melt to bring the sauce all together. And then I'm going to deal with the pasta now, because it's done. Yep. And I'm going to get the bread. All right, our garlic bread is done. Thanks, Bill. Boop. All right, I'm gonna grab some of the pasta water. I think that's also another thing that a lot of people don't use when they cook. It has the starch from the pasta, and that really helps you develop your sauce. And also, never add oil to your pasta water. Yes, it makes it not clump together, but you should be stirring it so that it doesn't get clumpy. If you put oil on it, that creates a coat on the pasta, and then your sauce isn't going to stick to the pasta. What you really want is a starchy pasta to then grip the sauce that you're making, right? So we're going to take some of this pasta water, and I'm going to put it right in here. And I'm going to let that cook down. I'm going to keep the lid off. Right? And then I'm just going to take the pasta right from the pan, and then I'm going to put it right into the shrimp. I think a lot of times people just, have it on the side, but cooking it in the sauce, like I said, it's starchy and it's sticky, right? It's gonna stick to this sauce and help and finish cooking rather in the sauce. So that's really what a lot of restaurants do. That's how Italians cook, and that's how the pasta, why you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than what I did at home.
Milena, have you tried using your sauce with scallops? Like pan frying them?
So that is something that I have not tried yet, but I did have a customer do that, and then she reported back that it was delicious, because that was exactly why she bought the sauce, because she wanted to do seared scallops. So, and she did it with linguine, actually.
Okay. I'll give it a try this week and let you know.
All right. Yes, please do. I also had another customer do this with, use the sauce for eggs, and I was like, wow, I never tried it with like scrambled eggs or anything like that, but I'm looking at other recipes too to develop and try. So eggs is definitely something. I love like savory breakfast. I'm not really much of a fan of sweet breakfast foods, so the next recipe that I want to try to develop and use the sauce for too is doing like a savory oatmeal and then having like a fried egg on top of that. So, all right, so my sauce is boiling, the pasta's in there, shrimp are mixed, cooked, and then I really love having Parmesan cheese on top. I really love the Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy. It's the aged Parmesan. That's real like Parmesan. It adds like a nuttiness. Some people say, you know, don't mix cheese with seafood, but I think it's delicious. Do what you like. And then once again, you could also put red pepper flakes. But I love spicy food, but mommy, it doesn't sit well with her. So we don't tend to really eat that much spicy food around here. And if I do make something that's too spicy, then I feel really bad. Because it won't be spicy to me, but it'll be spicy to her. But anyway, it's all coming together. I'm gonna go check on the dip and make some space so that you can see it. I typically also clean as I cook. So if I weren't speaking with you all, I'd be washing these dishes. Say hi, Bill. Say
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Bill.
I am going to clean up by eating and also by cleaning
Hi,
the dishes as usual. Nice to see everybody.
Nice to
I
see
know.
you.
Yeah, I see Amy and Amanda. It's nice to see familiar faces.
So I took this out so that you could see. I would leave it in more time. Like I said, my oven is a little bit slower, but it's getting brown on the edges, and some of the tomatoes have popped. So I'm just gonna make sure all of them are, and that's because I have definitely burned my mouth on eating a hot tomato that then just squirts out in your mouth while you're eating it, and that is painful. So before serving too, you're gonna want to let it rest. Speaking of letting things rest, let your proteins rest as well. You know, when you're making steak, chicken, you know, don't immediately cut into it because it needs the time to rest so that the juices stay there, right? So it's gonna get a little bit cool. Maybe let it rest no more than 10 minutes, right? And then cut into it. Have you ever made like a chicken breast, right? And then you cut it right after you cook it, and then there's all this juice all over the table, and then when you're eating it, it's really dry? That's because you cut it too soon. All right, so I'm gonna then plate up pasta because it's done.
Amanda says, veggie medley with your sauce.
Oh, Amanda made a veggie medley with the sauce.
Yeah, if she can share if you'd like.
Wonderful. Yes, Amanda, please share. All right. So this is all just going into on the platter. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, it looks delicious.
And that's that. Voila. We are all done. That's dinner.
Well, that's dinner for you. And Vinny and Bill.
Come on over, Amanda.
Come on over.
You're close enough.
You're close enough. Come on over.
I may do that.
Come on.
Come on.
Over.
I'm half vaccinated, by the way. I just got
Me
the Pfizer
too.
vaccine today.
I got mine on Thursday. I got the first half. All right.
Good.
Let's dig in here.
Chef goes first.
All right.
Yeah, I want to try that goat thing. It's very interesting.
Oh yeah. That's really good. I think I want to repeat that for our Super Bowl.
Save some of that for me. I'm coming over.
All right. Bring Alice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alice wants to play.
So does anybody have any questions or comments?
So how liquidy is the sauce on the linguine? Is it all absorbed, or is if
No,
you had a
it's not all
spoon-
absorbed.
If we took a
There's-
spoon, would there be some on the spoon?
Yes, absolutely. There is.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good.
Yep. I mean, you can certainly cook it down if you want, but I like having that sauciness to then take the garlic bread in and dip afterwards. I see you nodding, Kimata.
I definitely would have cheese on that though.
Yeah. It would be lovely. Anyone else? What time is it? How did I do on time?
Yeah, 10 up.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty good.
6:50. So, Milena, I wanted
Yes.
to tell you that I went to a farmer's market here in Montclair today.
Mm-hmm.
And there were very few vendors out there because it was so cold. But I picked up some turnips. I picked up some golden beets.
Nice.
I picked up some. I didn't pick up any eggplants, but some squash. And whatever they had, I came over and chopped it up, and used your sauce with lots of it, lots of garlic, and put some Parmesan cheese
Oh, nice.
on top, and a little garam masala, which I love. It's the
Okay.
only Indian, spice that I love. And I'll tell you, I stuck that in the oven at 450
All right.
for about 20 minutes. Oh, and I had some broccoli and some cauliflower, and I just mixed it all up, and I made a huge tray, and I went around to a couple of my friends, and I dropped it over. But your sauce did all the work because it was very garlicky and just luscious and delicious, and that's a good idea too, to do a tray of vegetables for the week that you can use as a base for anything else that you want to cook.
Yeah, that's a really great point, Amanda, because you can make your, brown rice, your quinoa, your farro, whatever kind of base you want, and make your own bowls. Or, have it for your salad greens, have that all ready. Like instead of, ordering out and spending $15 up to $20 on a salad or a bowl, have the ingredients like prepped in your fridge during the week. Like Colette was talking about meal prepping, throughout the week. That really, it's like a really simple way, and then like really cheap too, like at the farmer's market, the one that I go to over here on Route 10, it's like $50 will get you a whole cartload of vegetables, right? So that's also like really affordable too. All right.
Yep.
Well, I'm so glad that everybody joined to watch me cook. I really love sharing, my passion with you all. I'm going to be doing this once a month. It's going to be my series in the kitchen. to really make people more comfortable with cooking and seeing the different versatile ways that you can use the sauce. And I want to show you a little preview. This is like my prototype. I'm getting new bottling and new labels, so this will be coming soon. And then, you know, in my mind, I have a lot of ideas for other sauces, but this really is the sauce that I wanted to introduce to everybody because it's just such a versatile, like, sauce that you can use every day. We always have a jar of it in our refrigerator. And look, if you use a lot of the oil and then you still have garlic, just add more oil to it, and it'll get that garlicky flavor too. All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Oh, what kind of oil?
Yeah.
So this is a mix of extra virgin and vegetable oil because you want something. You don't want to just use extra virgin olive oil for everything because it doesn't really handle high heat well, right? So that's why I did it with a mix so that you could be able to, you know, really cook with it and bake with it and use it for all different types of cooking methods. So having a vegetable oil, my mom originally uses safflower oil because that's her preferred oil, and that's the one that we have like historically always used. So you just want like a neutral oil that can handle a high heat. Also, extra virgin olive oil on its own, just that isn't a good idea either because you're going to want to keep this in the fridge and then it will congeal if you're using extra virgin olive oil, which it's fine, right? But it doesn't look that great and you have to bring it to room temperature every time you want to try to use it because it won't mix well. So please, you know, feel free to reach out with any reviews, with any comments, with any questions. If you need any recipe ideas, I'm here for you, and that's why I'm doing this. So I will send out information of the next one that I'm doing next month. But thank you so much for joining me on my first In the Kitchen cooking series.
So, Milena,
Thank you.
I want to tell everybody that you're going to be doing a heart-healthy cooking demonstration for the Women's Wellness Sunday that we have.
Yes.
I'll send you that invitation, but concentrate on heart healthy and circulation healthy with your sauce. Okay?
Absolutely. Sounds good. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Loved it. Thank you.
Bye.
Happy New Year!
Okay, I'm done.
That was nice.
Good? It's all done. Oh. Nope, it's not done. Thanks, Ma.